2:14. Am I not using mine? Thank you. That's just to talk to them into the Zoom? Huh? That's just to talk to them in the Zoom. Okay. All right, so but this is your still your regular mic. Okay. After the Zoom is over, so I will totally avoid that. So just when you go back to after the Zoom, just go back to your mic here. I'll just walk off stage and give this back to you. Yeah. Okay. No, we're gonna have you adjust this. Okay, great. And will I see it on the monitor? Yeah. Great. See them, that rather. Shana Tova, Koshin, and Shodo.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Hello, beautiful brothers. It's nice to see you on the screen in your beautiful sacred space from our sacred space. We miss you in person.
We miss being there.
But thank goodness for technology. And thank you for taking time on this day of atonement, as you do, to join us and meditate us deeper into being. I'm just here right now to welcome you and thank you on behalf of the entire Lab Shul team and community. There's quite a few of us here sitting in person. I know there are many more online. So may these next 45 minutes offer us all the grounding we need, midday, mid-fast. And I look forward to hugging you both and spending more quality time together in the days ahead. So I'm going to get off this camera and turn the Zoom off and go sit in the rows with everybody else and meditate with you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova, your community. So happy to be with you. So we're just going to begin with a meditation, short meditation, and then Chodo's going to read something and I'm going to share some things, and then we're going to go deeper into some meditation. So take a moment to adjust your posture. It's really wonderful to find your body. Maybe rock gently back and forth, and so you can feel your sit bones, those round bones under your seat, under your tuchus. And just allowing that to be here. Feeling your feet on the ground, feeling your mind dropping into your sit bones and onto the ground. And allowing your mind to rest in your lower belly, just about a couple inches, 2 inches below your belly button. allowing that to be soft. So just take a moment to put your hand there. Sometimes that's helpful. And just to remember how to soften. Maybe you can hear the sounds of the city, sirens, and just allowing all the sounds around you where you are to be part of what supports you in grounding. And taking a moment while staying with your breath in your lower belly and your soft belly, and just open your shoulders a little bit. Just open those shoulders. Feel your body. As we're practicing in Yom Kippur, to be at one with our lives, our transgressions, our missteps, as we were exploring last night, and also the beauty. Being one with the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows, the 10,000 transgressions and the 10,000 reconciliations. So with this uprightness, with our spine being upright, with our sit bones and soft belly, in an attitude of grounded, soft uprightness, we'll sit for a few minutes. All right. So welcome back, everyone. We'll just ring the bell again. I don't think you heard it.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be with you once again this year on this beautiful, beautiful day here in Manhattan, anyway, and on this very, very beautiful time of the year. I had all sorts of things I was going to say this afternoon that I was working on last week, and then this morning, ironically, the universe opened something up for me in my mailbox that I thought I'd read because it's just so beautiful. It's called Forgiveness at One, Walking Toward Morning Meditations. It's by Victoria Safford. Imagine this. On the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, every fall, every year, people make their peace with anyone they have wronged or slighted or injured or in any way neglected in the past 12 months. The task is not to patch things up or smooth things over, reach a compromise, or sweep mistakes and uneasy memories under the rug. The task is not to feel better. The task is ownership. The goal is truth. For its own redemptive sake, I did this. I said this to you, and it was wrong. I neglected this. I botched this. I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you whether or not you even knew it. This is the truth in which both of us are living. I ask you to forgive me. Imagine how many deep breaths you would need to take. Imagine how many doors you'd have to knock on, how many phone calls you'd have to make, how many letters, how many lunches, and how many coffees, and how many awkward moments with your children and your parents, and with strangers. That cashier to whom you spoke so sharply. Awkward is irrelevant. The task is not about comfort. It is about truth. It's about wholeness and holiness, restoration. Imagine this. Someone has been preparing all year to speak with you, to write to you, to ask you a hard question. Perhaps in some way not quite conscious. You have even known this, and you have been preparing too. Finally, you answer the door or the phone or open the letter with shaky hands, and there it is. What you thought you'd been longing for, but really have dreaded. Someone is asking your forgiveness. The task is not about comfort. It's about truth. Awkward is irrelevant. You get to choose now. You have to choose whether and how you will participate in restoration. Abandon the pleasant piety that claims knee-jerk forgiveness as the unquestioned moral course. You get to choose which way will be right in this case, between you as persons and all persons and with all your gods. What response will make the world whole? Imagine something yearns in us to come out right out. Something creaky, rusty, heavy, almost calcified within us tries. In spite of us and all our fears and self-deceptions, to turn and creak and turn again and come round a little truer. Something in us stretches toward conversion. Imagine healing wholly from within. That said anything, I couldn't have said anything better than that. So beautiful, so beautiful. Let's hear from Kosha. Let's just take that in for a moment. Forgiveness at one, walking toward morning meditation. Here we are in the afternoon. Hopefully you can take those words in each morning, each afternoon.
Thank you. So this last line of imagine healing wholly from within. For me on Yom Kippur today, on this Yom Kippur, as we move into this year of rest, and yet, how do we move into a year of rest that is also engaged? How can we do this differently? How do we take responsibility? And for me, one of the things that is most central is really how do we really reflect on registering what actually feels healing. Think about the words that we say to ourselves when we look in the mirror. How do you imagine healing words? And how do you use our awareness to actually reflect on healing? And how do you register when you're cruel to yourself? How do you tend to that? How do we use this Yom Kippur to begin again? To say, yes, I've been cruel and unkind in my words and my thoughts about myself, my actions towards myself. And how do we register that? How do we feel it with our bodies? And also, how do we really register and reflect on when we're doing things that feel nourishing and helpful? When our words, when our thoughts and our actions are in attunement, how do we just take that in and really feel it? Allow it to come in. So as we will be preparing to do meditation practice, and for me, it is really about, in many ways, practice, if it's going well, is really about atonement itself. Being at one, I am here. Or as we hear in the Torah about Hineni, I am here, like to actually be here with the responsibility. And in the other teachings from Shakyamuni Buddha also talk about, that it's not enough to be aware of both the transgressions we have towards ourselves and others. And it's not enough to be aware of when things are good. What he suggests is, how do we actually create the conditions to support nourishing life? Or as that beautiful piece that Chodo has read is, imagine healing wholly from within. How do you actually cultivate a life where there's authenticity and consistency and continuity and curiosity for what is tender? And how do you actually work in this year of rest? How do you work in a restful way to actually take care of fostering the conditions in your personal life and in the world?
Yeah. I think for me, the important lines in this reading, I'll just read them again, a couple of lines. Someone is asking you for forgiveness. The task is not about comfort. It's about truth. Awkward is irrelevant. You get to choose now. You have to choose whether and how you will participate. Awkward is irrelevant. It's not what you feel you want to do, what would be easier. You get to choose. It's not about comfort. It's about truth. It's about being fully present, fully aware of any unskillful behaviors in the past year that you need to investigate, that you need to share in with another persons, to be fully taking responsibility for your own unskillful behaviors. Take this on this day of atonement. In Zen, there's a saying, one moment, one chance. This is the moment. This is your one chance to think about what you need to do today.
To not hold back.
So I'd like to lead us in a guided meditation. For this, you'll need to get really comfortable for yourself. Find a position that you'll be able to maintain for these next 15 minutes or so. And be open and receptive. Don't miss a moment. Take a moment to become aware of your breath. Notice how you breathe. Don't try to change the way you breathe. Just breathe naturally, not thinking there's a right way to do it. It's just the way that you do it. Feel the weight of your body pushing down into the chair. And with a slight shift in awareness, feel the chair supporting you. So there's the weight of your body pushing down, the chair supporting you, giving and receiving. This is what our practice is about in many ways, giving and receiving. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the ground supporting you, supporting the chair, supporting your body. Again, bring your awareness to your breath. Each in-breath is bringing life into the body. Notice what happens as you inhale. Notice what happens in the body, this frail body. As you breathe in, your lungs expand, chest rises, the rib cage is opened slightly to allow for the expansion of the lungs. Notice what happens to the diaphragm. As you exhale, notice the body, what happens in reverse. Each in-breath bringing life into the body, and each out-breath is like a small death. Last thing we do is exhale. The breath leaves the body. We never know for certain if there will be a next in-breath. This body is fragile. Our life is uncertain. Don't take for granted this breath, this in-breath. Thank you for this in-breath. Gratitude, the out-breath. Gratitude for this life. There's the next in-breath. Notice any sounds around you. Sounds in the mind, outside the mind. Any thoughts, any stories that are arising right now. I don't like this meditation. I wish there was some music. This is boring. I need to eat. I'm tired. Drop all those stories, all those thoughts. They're not actually that important right now. What's important is each breath. And we can use the breath as an anchor to pull us away from distractions. In those moments when I find myself losing my attention and thought, come back to what's important. What's more important? This breath. Sit for a few moments now, just really concentrating on the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice how the body feels in the stillness. Even if there is noise around you, be in your own stillness. Notice any aches, pains, physical body. And breathe into those spaces. You have stiff joints right now in your knees. Imagine breathing into that place, bringing some air to provide relief, release. Locate the place in your body that needs some attention. Breathe into that place. you've lost concentration, come back to your breath. Gently bring yourself back, no judgment. Next in breath. And imagine the heart opening. Breathing into that space. Bringing spaciousness. Breathing in the love that you feel for those around you, for those in your room at this moment, those outside of the room, another country. Create space in your heart to allow those people to be present here with you. Think of the folks who want to be with you right now. A couple of minutes. On the next in-breath, see if you can make that space wider, that space of love that you have created. A little portion of that space, a little area of that space. You can allow for those who you don't love, those as you see other than you, those who you turn away from, those as you see separate from us, from you. You find a space of compassion for those people, for those persons. You breathe into that. It's a saying, hatred will not cease by hatred, but by love alone. Think of those who have harmed you in your life, whether real or perceived. You bring those folks into this space of love. Breathing in, breathing out. Equally, love. In and out. This is not an easy task. Breathe not only those you love into your heart, those you find difficult, those you could never consider loving. You find compassion. Victoria Stafford, in this writing, tells us the task is not about comfort. It is about truth, about wholeness and holiness, about restoration. And now take a moment to bring yourself fully back into the room, and whether you are aware of it or not, in the last 15-20 minutes, your life has changed, as has everyone's, moment by moment. You have one moment, one chance to change.
Dear community of Lab Shul, we're so happy to be with you on Yom Kippur and always celebrating the diversity of our expression and remembering our vow to be at one, to atone, and to take responsibility and to do it together. Thank you so much.
And from our sacred place to your sacred place, wherever you are, whether you're upstate New York or whether you're somewhere else in the globe, hold these sacred space for the next hours. Keep them sacred. Keep your breath sacred.
Be well, be well.
May your life go well. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.